This is an unusual day in the life of a BIM engineer working at one of the largest modular housing fabricators in Europe. I wake up at 7 a.m. so that I can start an exciting day by grabbing my BIM laptop and starting my commute to work. By jumping out of a plane with my BIM coordinator. Today we're doing some work in the cloud. Most people log in, we dive in. Okay, today's unusual, but not that unusual. Here's my day. I'm up 2 hours earlier than usual. So today is going to be a bit different than normal because my commute to the office is going to be 200 kilometers. That being said, I'll explain why in a minute, but first, I have a train to catch. Welcome to a very unusual day as a BIM engineer. So you probably know what engineering is, but do you know what BIM is? BIM stands for Building Information Modeling. It's a holistic process for creating and managing project data within an intelligent 3D model, from the plan to the design to the build and the operation. BIM is quickly becoming a standard process in the architecture, engineering, and construction industry. It allows for different design and construction disciplines to collaborate on projects in a cloud-based environment. Unlike 3D models created in conventional computer-aided design software, BIM not only contains geometry, but also information that can be used for material and cost estimates, simulation and analysis, and visualization, just to name a few. More importantly, BIM allows for better communication by mixing together different disciplines in one environment, reducing errors and rework. Because this channel is all about food and design, let me show you this advantage of BIM using bibimbap, a Korean dish whose name translates to mixed rice. As I'm a BIM engineer at a modular housing fabricator, I like to prefab my food to save time in the morning. Let's say you're an architect working on an architectural model, which is the rice in this example. The architecture is the base layer. It defines the space and becomes the foundation that every other discipline builds on. Without rice, there is no bibimbap, just as without architecture, there is no building to model. The structural engineers are working in a separate structural model, the veggies. The vegetables bring structure to the dish, supporting it by keeping everything balanced and holding its form so that it doesn't turn into a bowl of mush. The other mechanical, electrical, and plumbing MEP consultants are working in a different model, the egg. It is the golden heart of the dish. Just as the yolk flows to touch every ingredient, MEP flows through every part of the building, tying spaces together with comfort, energy, and function. With BIM, you can easily link all these disciplines together in one model to make sure all aspects of the project are working well together and not clashing. You can also add other models from other consultants and contractors. In this case, some tasty toppings. This delicious combination is better together than the sum of its individual parts. I love BIM and bibimbap. By the way, I don't eat this every day. It's delicious though, I wish I did. Okay, enough talking. I've got a train to catch. I wash up my dishes, brush my teeth, floss, pull myself up by the bootstraps, and head out towards the station. On the way, I passed by one of my company's housing projects. It's one of my favorite modular buildings because its sloped roofline and staggered windows makes it an interesting design, instead of looking like a bunch of modules were just copied and pasted on top of each other, eh? They say the Netherlands is a very pedestrian-friendly country. However, today, I almost got taken out by a BIM-paired driver. What is this guy doing? Buddy! But I finally make it to the train station and catch my first train to Utrecht Centraal, the busiest train station in the Netherlands. First train, let's go. Because Utrecht is located in the middle of the Netherlands, this makes Utrecht Centraal the most important train hub in the country, which gives me more direct trains to international destinations. Since I'm leaving the Netherlands, I need to check back in with my international train ticket, get some Dutch snacks for my international colleagues, and head to the platform. Okay, so at this point you might be thinking, but what is a BIM engineer? BIM makes it sound very technical and software based, but the engineer gives it a hint of design. A BIM engineer is not a typical role. So first I'll need to explain the standard roles in a BIM department. At the operational level, you have BIM modelers. They're responsible for creating the model and adding information to their elements. Once a model is created, the modelers maintain and update the model as the project develops. And sometimes the projects develop faster than this train. Or that train, to be honest. The value of BIM modelers is based on the production of the BIM model and the content that's extracted from it, such as drawings, IFC models, schedules, and visualizations. Another one. Oh my God.
Dear passengers, due to an unexpected interruption, please subscribe to this channel. It keeps the content on track.
One step up is the BIM coordinator. They set up the modeling environment to be able to deliver the output as specified by the BIM manager. The BIM coordinator coordinates and manages the modelers throughout the whole project. They carry out quality checks to make sure that all the models from all the disciplines are working well together and not clashing. It is up to the BIM coordinator to be on time with all the deliverables, just like that train, and also to the quality as specified by the BIM manager. That was a loud train. I hope it came out on the mic. At the strategic level, the BIM manager defines the workflows, the standards, and the requirements that the BIM models must follow, just like I'm following this train. They promote the benefits of working with BIM, and of course, they have to coordinate and manage the BIM coordinators. That's pretty cool. That's my train. So, where does the BIM engineer sit in all of this? Well, the BIM engineer sits between the modeler and the coordinator, because not only does the BIM engineer provide value to the project by creating output, they also input technical knowledge that can influence the design and the outcome of the project. So what are the responsibilities of a BIM engineer, you might ask? At my company, I enter a project at the design development phase where I create a model with enough detailed information so that the outputs can be used to create and produce our projects in the factory. This means that once a project is modeled, I export detailed drawings, production drawings, schedules, IFC models, visualizations, and more. With experience, you gain a lot of technical knowledge that can be used to improve the designs and the workflows of projects. But what I love about this job is that sometimes you get the opportunity to add value in ways that fall outside of your daily tasks as a BIM engineer. Like today, I'm traveling from the Netherlands to Bochum Hauptbahnhof from Germany because a few German colleagues of mine have asked me to spend a few days at their office to help them develop their BIM modeling and production drawing workflows for one of the world's largest modular housing projects, which will be built in Berlin.
Ladies and gentlemen, within a few moments this train will enter Arnhem, the last station in the Netherlands for this international freight.
I got this nice little spot right for myself. I guess what I'll do is catch up on a few emails and also send one really important one because soon I'm going to begin the process of becoming a registered architect in the Netherlands. And now I have a little bit of time.
Ladies and gentlemen, within a few moments this train will enter Oberhausen, the first stop in Germany for this international freight.
Nice ride on the ice. Ice, ice, baby. Landsberger, Allee will consist of 4 8-story buildings that will be made up of more than 3,000 modules. That's over 1,500 apartments. This will provide more than 2,000 people with apartments of various types that are high quality and affordable, something that is much in demand, much in need in Germany. Now you can imagine that for a modular housing project of this scale, efficiency is paramount. Careful planning and the implementation of BIM are going to be crucial for this project to go smoothly. Now, there isn't much time before the project goes into production at the factory. So I'm hoping that in the next 3 days, we manage to set up a BIM modeling and production drawing workflow that is so efficient that it maximizes productivity, minimizes mistakes, and shaves days or even weeks off of the production schedule. And now I'm gonna catch train number 3, which will get me to Essen. And that is my train right there. On time and on schedule. Just like the project, hopefully. Now, onto the last leg of the journey. All I had to do was catch a train from Oberhausen to Essen. And finally, one last train from Essen to Bochum. It's been 4 trains, and this is gonna be my 5th one. Should have been 4, but got off too early. I eventually reached Bochum, and Chris, my colleague, gave me a ride to the Bochum office. The office is located in a new business park development on the former grounds of the Opel car factory. New day, new challenge. Time to start the workday. I set up a pair of monitors and a docking station because I will be working from Bochum for the next week. The penthouse office has a nice view of one of the largest parcel distribution centers in Europe and the former Opel car factory. After I get my desk up and running, I meet the team, Marcel, Anton, Chris, and Edvin, with whom I'll be mainly working with. We kick off the day with a project introduction. Chris and Anton start off by showing me the general information about the project, such as the site, master plan and building design, overall planning and scope of work, and the stakeholders and collaborators involved in the project. But then we quickly dive into the technical and examine the building details, design of our modules, BIM standards, our Revit projects, the current status of the first building that is going into production, the current modeling and drafting workflows, and the organization of the BIM environment on the Autodesk Construction Cloud that allows us to collaborate and exchange information with internal and external parties. After a couple hours of intense work, it's time for the new information to sink in and to grab the first coffee of the day. I'm surprised to learn that Chris is not only a talented BIM leader, but also a talented barista. I unleash the Dutch snacks. Place the stroopwafel above your favorite warm beverage, and after a few minutes, the caramel will melt, and you will have a warm and delicious gooey snack. Buzzing from caffeine and sugar, I've got some solo time to explore the models for BT4, the next building phase in BIM. I start spotting both challenges and ways we can improve processes here in Bochum. Since I'm only here for a week, time management is key. I skip the classic to-do list and use something called the Eisenhower matrix. It helps sort tasks by urgency and importance, based on this quote by Dwight Eisenhower.
I have 2 kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important, and the important are never urgent.
Here's how it works. Tasks that are urgent and important, do these ones first. Tasks that are important but not urgent, plan them into your schedule for later. For tasks that are urgent but not important, delegate these if you can. And for tasks that are neither, delete these. These are total time wasters. With a plan in place, I start drafting a few workflow proposals, from BIM setup to the final factory-ready drawings. For scheming up workflow proposals, I turn to Miro. I'm not sponsored by them, I just love it. I used it for my architecture thesis and still rely on it at work. It's perfect for organizing info visually, and I'm a super visual person. Think of diagrams, tables, sticky notes. That's my kind of workspace. After an hour of intense work,
it's time for a cup of tea.
We start by presenting our individual workflow proposals for the project. These cover how we model metal stud frames using the AgaCAD add-on for Revit, adapt 2D drawings for efficiency, and create production drawings for modular elements like concrete floors and steel beams. We decide on one proposal as the foundation, then go through it step by step, questioning, refining, and improving until we have a clear shared process everyone agrees on. One of the most useful tools I picked up in architecture school is sketching. Many see it as a way to show a final idea, but to me it's a way of thinking visually. The sketches don't need to be perfect, just clear enough to get the point across. We do that a lot in this meeting. By the end, the workflow is organized into phases. Roles are assigned, and we split up action items and open questions to follow up on later. Now you know I'm a BIM engineer, so we work at a housing factory that's modular, so we need to have the fabrication of the prefab modular burritos, you know?
They look pretty good. Really good.
Time for some food for thought. After lunch, the meeting marathon begins. Hello Netherlands and the UK. I jumped into our international BIM meeting with the Dutch, German, and UK teams, where we refined our shared templates and streamlined the BIM workflows for each office.
I just think that if you find any way of automating the dimension, that's always a time saver and a bonus.
I'm gonna go for a quick comfort break. I just had my Earl Grey. After this meeting, I grab a quick cappuccino for the energy boost. And jump into the next meeting with Louise, the head of design from the UK office, to answer some questions about production drawings for the as-built model of the Cardiff Gasworks housing project that I recently worked on. The project consists of 54 homes made of 131 modules that serve as temporary emergency housing for families experiencing homelessness. The modules are made to be disassembled and relocated or stacked on top of each other. Between meetings, I squeezed in some research on automating dimensioning and tagging in Revit and found a promising plugin to test later this week, AutoCAD Smart Documentation. I also drafted part of our abstract for the CIB W78 and Building Smart Joint Summit in Marrakesh. If you're curious about my research about implementing BIM workflows in prefabricated modular construction, check out my full presentation. The link is in the description down below. The day wrapped up with a solo brainstorming session and then a team brainstorm to refine our workflows and prepare next steps for everyone. Of course, we also had to watch a quick episode of our idol. So today was a super productive day, and I think it's really important that if you have a team that's split between different places, once in a while they should come together so that they can get a really good overview of all of the processes. Today was more of a get to know the project kind of day, where we had to understand the situation, the context, the state of the project, and most importantly, what needs to get done. We wanted to analyze the options that have been considered, that haven't been considered, and the individual research needs to be put together in order to create a process that is comprehensive and is appropriate for the project and its deadlines. In an ideal situation, you would have one BIM workflow, but in our case, we have 4 BIM workflows. And this is in order to minimize human error, minimize the amount of work that needs to get done, maximize productivity, and also shave a lot of time off of the already tight project schedule and deadlines. I really do think that coming together and having these short in-person sprints is much more effective than communicating via Teams or planning meetings or chains of emails that always get lost somewhere. Especially as a BIM engineer or anybody working in the construction industry, it is so important to come together, collaborate, and also use different mediums to express things. Like today, through the Miro board where we made flowcharts, or the paper sessions where we sketched out different options and concepts. It's so important to collaborate and communicate in person. Many of the solutions today came from discussions at the coffee machine, which just happened spontaneously. It's during these discussions outside of the meeting room where topics and information just organically and spontaneously come up. And maybe that information is not needed today, maybe it's not useful today, but it could be worth its value in gold in the future. The communication today was in real time, and we kept the communication lines short and efficient. One of the biggest advantages of working in a multidisciplinary office is that if you or one of your team members doesn't know something or needs some information, you can just walk over. That information is within walking distance of you. I honestly think that this sprint today has saved us a week of communication that would have been otherwise done via Teams while working in different countries. In my honest opinion, I'm very happy with how productive today was, despite having a lot of delays on the Deutsche Bahn. Moving forward, we're going to refine the steps in our BIM workflows, we're going to add more detail to them, and we're going to visualize everything very nicely on our Miro board in a well-designed way so that we can share these concepts and these workflows to different departments within our company. Presentation is everything. If you have a good idea, but you cannot present it or communicate it well, then that's a problem. Communication costs time, and time is money. With better communication, we will save time, make less mistakes, and hopefully make the experience better for everybody. Not just smoother for the people in the office who are modeling and managing the project, but also for the workers producing the modules at the factory and the workers who are placing them at the construction site. The changes we make now will have a far greater impact than the changes that we make later on, so we have to be precise. That being said, I'm looking forward for the next little while to be working with such talented and passionate people on Europe's largest modular housing project. But for now, the workday is over and it's time to relax. Sometimes when you put your problems on the afterburner of your mind, they somehow just resolve themselves. So let me take you onto the last part of the day, the after hours. Come on, let's go. After work, Anton and I check into our hotel, drop off our bags, and go into town to shoot some pool with the boys from the office. After working up an appetite, we got some food, explored Bochum, And at the end of a super action-packed day, I still had some adrenaline left in me. So I walked to the Bergbaum Museum for a calisthenics workout. So I don't know if you can actually see this, but it's pretty cold outside. Check out the vapor. Workouts in the winter are fun. Finally, it was time to wind down so that I could get some rest for the exciting week ahead at the Bochum office. We willen graag bestellen. So it's 10:45 right now, and this officially means that I've been up for 18 hours. I'm fading right now. I'm getting ready for bed. I just set my alarm. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned something from this exceptional and very unusual day in the life of a BIM engineer. If you have any questions, write them down in the comments. But for now, thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode. Remember to savor the flavor.